Let's bring in Alan Nuckman, Chief Market Strategist at BullseyeOption.com. Alan, I know you have a trade for us in Coca-Cola, but before we get to that, I'm curious about your thoughts on the market weakness today. You know, it's not a disaster. The S&P,
Nope.
as I said with Alex, still only about 3% away from all-time highs, but the market decidedly lower amidst this tariff uncertainty. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's all about price. That's what you have to focus on. Now, obviously, these are the most talked about tariffs, and anticipated by the market. So, yeah, we're down, but we're down, less than 2%. I'm seeing a 1% handle on some of these indexes and so forth. So we also want to compare it to what happened last week, and it's about the price. So let's focus on that. Last week when we had the DeepSeek issue, you still had Meta, Google, and Amazon make new all-time highs last week. So they shook it off. The market filled in that gap down that we had from on Monday morning, filled in that gap down on the S&P and in the NASDAQ. Now we're seeing the same kind of reaction here so far. So I always have what I call a two-day rule, is when you see something just completely out of the blue like this, and I use a lot of these Trump issues back in 2017, 18, 19, that you want to see how the markets react over the next couple of days and see how they stabilize. And that's exactly what happened last week. So let's see what happens here today. But looking at it, the NASDAQ, the NDX is already 250 points off its overnight low. So again, these are modest moves. The psychology may be shaken, but the markets aren't so far.
Okay, so if it's all about price, names like Meta not really giving you much of a buying opportunity, seeing as it did flip positive just a second ago. Now it's down about 0.5%, but still up 17% in 2025.
Exactly.
So where specifically would you be looking in this market for good buying opportunities based on valuation?
Well, what we're looking at, we're seeing a lot of stocks that are having some profit taking as a pullback. And so there's going to be a ton of opportunities. This is now a stock pickers market. That's what's different now, is that there are winners and there are losers. And the pulpit pressure is going to help determine that. So you've got to play that game. And so there's opportunities. Let's see what happens. But gold has been something we've been talking about. GDX still has huge upside potential. We're not even at the midpoint of the range for the last 6 months in GDX, which are the gold miners, whereas gold is making all-time highs after all-time highs. So I still see a huge amount of value there, but it's more selective, and that's why I use my money flow indicator to try and watch over the shoulder of the big money investors that use leverage positioning to accumulate positions, and they're using options because they've got some good insight, and that's what I follow.
Okay, so I promise I'm going to get to your trade, but is the buying opportunity right now with these red arrows, or do you think we'll be presented with more losses and better entry points?
Well, like I said, I try and use the two-day rule. Also, I can get you into the 1 hour rule as well. When a market gaps down, you want to see in that first hour of trade how that gap is filled, or is that low going to be extended? So we still have about 15 minutes to see, but it looks like they're trying to fill the gap just like they did last week. Obviously, I'm bullish. I'm always looking for bullish opportunities, and the risk reward is here for so many things right now. Maybe not the Meta and the Google that are at their tops, but look at something like a Microsoft. The risk reward is on the Microsoft side if you look at that, and there are plenty of stocks out there that are forming bottom bases, and then I use options, so I don't have to be as complete. I don't have to be as precise. I'm using 3 to 6 month options, so I can let the markets ride their waves. Well, I'll have limited risk because I have the time.
All right. So two-day rule, money flow indicator, and you're trading Coca-Cola. So tell me why Coca-Cola is on your radar today. It's a loser today, only down a little less than 1% though. And tell me how you're going to trade it.
Well, Coca-Cola is a stock that's kind of long forgotten. It's a Dow stock, but it's down here and it's about 15% off its highs for September. So again, risk reward. This is a consistent winner. Now, if you look at the last couple of years, it hasn't performed as well as the Dow has. So it's got some snapback catch up here. It's been trading between 57.5 and 72.5 for a year. So the midpoint on that is 65. It's been trading between 60 and 65 now for 3 full months. A breakout in that range, that target's 70. So there's a lot to look at. But again, it's about my money flow indicator. And I'm seeing leverage long positioning in this stock at this bottom base, and looking at this 60 level as a supreme support level to lean on. So there's a lot here. It's risk reward. It's got the money flow, and the fact that it hasn't moved at the same pace as some of the Dow stocks. I think there's a lot of upside potential. It may not move as fast as some of these hero stocks, but I think the risk reward, for me, it's all about math.
Okay, so final thoughts on that trade?
Yeah, I'm looking at the 60 call for June. June, you're going to be plenty of time. It's 4 months of time. It's an in-the-money options. It's going to act like the stock. And if we just get to that 70 level, this option more than doubles in value. So it's about the math. It's in a position for success. And it's going to have some less volatility than some other stocks. And even though we have earnings coming out in a couple of weeks, the volatility on this stock's only 20. So it's a very inexpensive, optionable stock to play. So the earnings could be a catalyst or not. I don't care. I'm in position for the next 4 months for this to make some sort of recovery. Like I said, we were up at 70, above 70 just back in September. So I like how this chart is set up and what I look for.
Yeah, looks like back to October's levels. Not getting any closer to 70 right now, though. Coca-Cola down about 1%, trading just below 63. Alan Nuckman, Chief Market Strategist, Bullseye Option. Appreciate your insights and the trade. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Up next.